New York City in the first decades of the 20th century was a place of astonishing transformation. The city was rapidly evolving, with new buildings and infrastructure projects reshaping the skyline and the lives of its inhabitants. It was a time of great ambition and innovation as the city sought to establish itself as a global metropolis. Skyscrapers climbed ever higher, casting long shadows over the avenues below. These towering structures were symbols of progress and modernity, reflecting the city's relentless drive towards the future. Each new building seemed to reach for the heavens, pushing the boundaries of what was architecturally possible. Amid this urban jungle, on a stretch of land overlooking the Hudson River, stood a mansion of unparalleled opulence, the Charles M. Schwab Mansion. This grand residence was a stark contrast to the steel and glass towers rising around it, offering a glimpse into a different kind of luxury and grandeur. It wasn't just a home, it was a statement, a monument to wealth and ambition in the Gilded Age. The mansion embodied the aspirations of its owner, Charles M. Schwab, a steel magnate who sought to create a legacy that would endure for generations. Its story is a reminder of the fleeting nature of fortune and the ever-changing face of the city. As New York continued to grow and evolve, many of the grand homes and buildings from this era would eventually be lost to time, replaced by new developments and modern structures. The mansion, completed in 1906, was a spectacle of French Renaissance design. Its architecture was inspired by the Grand Chateau of France, featuring elaborate details and a sense of timeless elegance that set it apart from other homes of the period. It sprawled across an entire city block, its facade adorned with intricate carvings. These details showcased the craftsmanship and artistry that went into its construction, making it a true masterpiece of its time. Passers-by would gaze in awe at the gleaming windows, imagining the lavish life led within its walls. The mansion was a source of fascination and envy, a symbol of the heights of success that could be achieved in this rapidly changing city. Little did they know that this architectural masterpiece would face the wrecking ball just a few decades later. The demolition of the Schwab Mansion marked the end of an era, a poignant reminder of the impermanence of even the grandest of dreams. Charles M. Schwab, the man behind the mansion, was a titan of industry. He was the president of Carnegie Steel Company and later founded Bethlehem Steel. Schwab had amassed an enormous fortune, and he desired a home that reflected his status. He chose a prime piece of real estate on Riverside Drive, a location favored by the city's elite. Schwab's vision extended beyond mere luxury. He envisioned a home that would be a work of art, a testament to his success. He spared no expense, hiring the renowned architectural firm of Maurice Hebert and Moreau de Tours. The architects drew inspiration from the Grand Chateau of France, incorporating elements of the Renaissance and Gothic styles. The result was a building that exuded grandeur and sophistication. The mansion was a marvel of craftsmanship and materials, a true testament to the opulence and grandeur of its era. Built in the late 19th century, it stood as a symbol of wealth and sophistication. The exterior was clad in Indiana limestone, its surface intricately carved with floral motifs and heraldic symbols. Each detail told a story, reflecting the rich history and cultural influences of the time. Over 70 rooms were spread across its 4 stories, each one lavishly decorated. The rooms were designed to impress, with every corner showcasing the finest materials and craftsmanship available. Schwab imported marble from Italy, tapestries from France, and chandeliers from Bohemia. These elements combined to create an atmosphere of unparalleled luxury and elegance. He filled the mansion with art and antiques, creating a collection that rivaled those of museums. Each piece was carefully selected to complement the mansion's aesthetic and add to its grandeur. One of the most striking features of the mansion was its grand staircase. This architectural marvel was not just a means of moving between floors, but a centerpiece that drew the eye and captured the imagination. It was crafted from Caen stone, a prized limestone from France, and rose gracefully from the entry hall to the upper floors. The stone's subtle hues and textures added to the staircase's elegance. The staircase was flanked by bronze balustrades and illuminated by a series of stained glass windows. These windows cast colorful patterns of light, creating a magical ambience throughout the day. It was a masterpiece of design, a testament to the skill of the artisans who created it. Every element, from the stone steps to the bronze railings, was crafted with precision and care, making the staircase a true work of art. The Schwab Mansion stood as a symbol of the Gilded Age, a time of unprecedented wealth and extravagance. However, the tides of fortune were turning. The stock market crash of 1929 plunged the country into the Great Depression. Millions lost their jobs and homes. In the face of such widespread suffering, the opulence of the Schwab Mansion seemed increasingly out of touch. Charles Schwab himself was hit hard by the Depression. His fortune dwindled, and he was forced to sell off many of his assets. The mansion, once a symbol of his success, became a financial burden. Schwab died in 1939, and the mansion was sold to the Archdiocese of New York. Section 5. The Burden of Opulence. The Archdiocese used the mansion as a rectory for the adjacent St. Ignatius Loyola Church. However, the upkeep of such a massive and ornate building proved to be too costly. The mansion required a large staff to maintain, and its heating and electricity bills were astronomical. By the 1940s, the Archdiocese was looking for a way to unload the property. Attempts were made to find a buyer for the mansion, but there were no takers. The city had changed dramatically since the Gilded Age. The wealthy were no longer building sprawling mansions. They were opting for more modern and manageable apartments. The mansion, once a coveted address, was now seen as a relic of a bygone era. Section 6. A city's evolving skyline. The post-war years saw a boom in construction in New York City. Skyscrapers were going up at a rapid pace, and land values were soaring. The site of the Schwab Mansion, once considered prime real estate, was now seen as too valuable to be occupied by a single dwelling. Developers were eager to get their hands on the property and erect a more profitable structure. The changing architectural tastes also played a role in the mansion's demise. The ornate and eclectic style of the Gilded Age had fallen out of favor. Modernism was in vogue, with its emphasis on clean lines, functional design, and new materials like glass and steel. The Schwab Mansion, for all its grandeur, was seen as outdated and impractical. Section 7. Lost to the Wrecking Ball. In 1967, the Archdiocese sold the Schwab Mansion to a developer. The sale price was $2 million, a fraction of what it would have cost to build the mansion just a few decades earlier. The developer had no intention of preserving the mansion. Its fate was sealed. It would be demolished to make way for a new apartment building. The demolition of the Schwab Mansion sparked outrage among preservationists, but their efforts to save it were in vain. The city issued demolition permits, and the wrecking ball moved in. Over the course of several weeks, the once grand mansion was reduced to a pile of rubble. The loss of the Schwab Mansion served as a stark reminder of the ephemeral nature of even the grandest creations. Section 8. A legacy in ruins. Today, the site of the Charles M. Schwab Mansion is occupied by a luxury apartment building. This transformation from a grand estate to a modern high-rise is a stark reminder of how urban landscapes evolve over time. The mansion, once a symbol of opulence and grandeur, has been replaced by a structure that caters to contemporary needs and lifestyles. There is little to indicate that this was once the location of one of New York City's most opulent residences. The historical marker is one of the few remnants that hint at the site's illustrious past. Walking through the streets of New York, it's easy to overlook the layers of history buried beneath the modern facade. However, the legacy of the Schwab Mansion lives on in photographs and architectural drawings. These images capture the essence of an era long gone, preserving the memory of a time when architectural beauty and craftsmanship were paramount. They serve as a window into the past, allowing us to glimpse the splendor that once was. It serves as a reminder of the Gilded Age, a time of both great wealth and great inequality. The Schwab Mansion was a testament to the immense fortunes amassed during this period, but it also highlights the stark contrast between the rich and the poor. The opulence of the mansion stood in sharp contrast to the struggles of the working class. The story of the Schwab Mansion is not unique. Many other grand residences and architectural marvels have met similar fates. The relentless march of progress and urban development has often led to the demolition of these historical treasures, erasing physical reminders of our past. Countless other architectural treasures have been lost to the wrecking ball in New York City and other urban centers. The drive to modernize and maximize space has often overshadowed the importance of preserving historical landmarks. Each demolished building represents a chapter of history that can never be rewritten. As cities evolve and grow, the pressure to develop land often trumps the desire to preserve the past. Urban planning meetings and construction projects focus on the future, sometimes at the expense of the historical and cultural heritage that gives a city its unique character. The loss of these buildings is a loss for us all, a reminder that progress often comes at a price. As we move forward, it's crucial to find a balance between development and preservation, ensuring that the stories and legacies of the past are not entirely forgotten in our quest for the future.